All right, Coach. Been a long outdoor year, but postseason competition gets underway in earnest up in Toledo this weekend. What are you looking for this weekend up in Toledo?
Yeah, well, conference championships, we've been building up to this point all year. The taper has taken effect, and a lot of the guys are feeling really fresh, and I think we're actually going to see some really good competition. Conference championships are always interesting because you never know exactly how the races are going to go. Sometimes they're tactical. Rarely are they hard from the gun, and so you ultimately end up getting a mix of types of races. So we have a lot of guys doubling. Joe Stewart is actually doubling in the 10,000 and the 5,000. He does get a day of rest in between, but we never know how that 5K is going to go out. He might actually be sitting back at a very pedestrian pace for the first half of the race before it really starts to move. So it's exciting to see these kind of races.
Distance group on the men's side has several athletes out of Miami who are, in pretty good projection pace to put up some nice point totals this weekend. What do you expect out of your group?
Well, I think there's a lot that could be surprising. Joey Comisford, one of our seniors, is in the 800, and he's had an injury, but he's coming back really strong right now. And so I hope to see him place fairly high in the 800. The 800 looks pretty wide open to be a top 3 scorer for him and Andrew Dusing. I think in the 1500, it's the same thing with Stephen Biebelhausen. Had an amazing race last week at the Billy Hayes Invite at Indiana University, and he's shown that he's a contender now to score some pretty big points along with Andrew Dusing. So Dusing will be doing the 8 and the 15. The steeplechase with McBride in that race, he could end up being top 3 pretty easily. I would hope that he's going to be vying for a top 1 or 2 spot depending on what the Eastern Michigan guys do. And same thing in the 5 and the 10. It's just kind of wide open from that 2nd to 4th place spots. And so if we come and perform the way that we're ready to perform, and which would include some personal best times, I think we'll see some good points from the distance.
On a macro level across this entire program, this is kind of the last large team competition for the year. What would a successful meet entail in your mind this weekend?
Well, good performances basically mean staying focused and running through the line, giving a hard effort till you don't have anything left. I think in the throws, the jumps, the sprints, and the distances, we've had a lot of athletes that have been on the bubble for a regional mark, and some of them could end up performing really well this weekend and move themselves into that top 48, which is how you qualify for the first round of the NCAA finals. And I think that a couple of our kids are very ready to do that. What that means is more points for us if they perform the best that they can. It's going to be a really exciting meet. I think that we'll end up seeing the team as a whole come together and really enjoy kind of putting the cap on the season, performing together up in Toledo.
All right, Andrew, in a long year for you, going back to cross-country season, now headed up to the MAC championships in Toledo. How are you feeling going into this weekend?
Yeah, it's been a long season. With cross and track and indoor, you kind of never really get a break. But feeling good. Kind of putting in all the work early, so we know our fitness is there, and we're just kind of ready to. This is the exciting part, right? It's kind of like the payday of working so hard all season. So really looking forward to just see what we got and racing the MAC competition. It's kind of what we've been working for, and we're fresh and we're ready to go, I think so.
Right, over in the 1500, kind of your specialty. What are you looking for out of that event? Both, you're up there in the conference rankings for possibly getting a MAC title, but also kind of knocking on the door of that cutoff line with the regional qualifying mark as well. What are kind of your hopes as far as trying to shave those extra couple of seconds and get you above that cutoff?
Yeah, so the MAC race is kind of always interesting with the 15. It's and just kind of with conference races in general. Could be really fast, could be really slow. So just kind of being ready for anything. It's probably one of the best events at MAC with there's Clayton Murphy and Willie Fink both running it. So it should be exciting. If it goes fast, there's definitely people to go quick with, and a PR is always great regardless of the meet. So I think it's just kind of going out there and putting myself in the right position to try to succeed, and then if it's a fast race, going for a PR and help me out with the regional rankings. Probably gonna be one of those things where you're up at night on Saturday hitting refresh to see what everyone did to see if I got in. But yeah, so it's an exciting time. I'm happy that a lot of really good competitors in the race. And I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Some of the competitors in that race will be some of your teammates who are also putting up some pretty competitive times. How much does that help as far as pushing you both, come competition day, but also in practice, making each other better every day?
Yeah. So Steve Buelhausen and Jake Brumfield are gonna be the ones in the race with me, and just even with the last meet, I raced with Steven for the first time, and he was in front of me for most of the race, and I think that really kind of like pushed me, and I hope something similar happens for Mac, where either I push him to go fast or he pushes me, and just kind of being with Steve and Jake in practice every single day, knowing kind of their fitness and where they're at, it just kind of gives me more information when I'm racing. Also, it's just kind of somebody who I know is going to help me out if I ever need in the race, and I think we're all looking forward to a really good race, and I think it's gonna be good. And I think I'd love to stand on the podium with at least one of them, hopefully two. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Laura. MAC championships this weekend. Your last outdoor MAC championships. What's that feeling like going into this weekend?
It's exciting to have the culmination of 4 years here, but it's also, it's just another race. It's just another MAC championship, so it's not too much different. Except this time I'll be racing the 5K, which I've never done before, so that's fun.
So with a little bit more on your plate than you had typically been used to in MAC championship meets past, what's kind of the strategy as far as pacing yourself, but also making sure you're hitting the times that you want to?
The nice thing about the MAC strategies are that it's never about who's really the fastest. It's kind of just about whoever's ready to run the race that day. So I'm not necessarily expecting huge PRs in the 1500 just to be a really competitive racer, which is going to set me up really nicely for the 5K. Plus, the 5K is going to be so much slower than the 1500. It'll feel like a jog for the first couple of laps, I'm hoping.
Team-wise, this group seems to have made some significant strides from when everybody kind of gathered back on campus in August. What do you see happening out of this group, not just distance or yourself, but as a group going into this last full team competition of the year?
I think everybody this season just kind of pulled together. There's a lot of trepidation coming in with the different coaches in August, and now we're kind of we're a big team, and we all work together, and we're all out there just to do our best and to do what's best for the team and represent Miami, the best that we can.
You mentioned not necessarily knowing what to expect with the 1500 in terms of times, but obviously you've gotten to that next level before with the 1500 in terms of regional competition.
Yep.
So you're kind of getting close to that cutoff point going into that. So what's the strategy going into that specific race?
It's just the regional times are kind of, sometimes you just have to be in the right race at the right time. So just being mentally ready for whatever happens, if we go out slow and we finish fast, or if we're just going to go out and run a barn burner, if that's what's going to happen. So just really being prepared and not being upset about my race no matter what happens, and knowing when I cross the line, if I did my best and ran my hardest, then that's how it's going to end.